is hands down my favorite day of the year. It does not get better than Thanksgiving. This is to me the best day of the year. You have everything. You have everything to be excited about. We got football all day. And sure, there's a lot of commercials today. A lot of commercials, but you're also spending time with your family and you're eating some great food. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. I am thankful for all of you. I got stuffing greater than everything in the comments on TikTok. All right. We got a lot to get through, obviously, today. 3 games going on today. We got the Detroit Lions, the winless Detroit Lions at home as only 3-point underdogs today against the Chicago Bears. We have the Las Vegas Raiders at home against the Dallas Cowboys. And then we have, the Las Vegas Raiders are in Dallas. And then we have the Bills in New Orleans against the Saints tonight. How we doing? Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. We're going to be talking all about the games today. Also, we're live on YouTube right now, and you're going to see my top 10 rankings, every single position, as always, on the YouTube stream. Link is in the TikTok bio. To start it off, let's actually start with the the tight ends, because the number 1 overall tight end of Week 12 is playing today, and that's Darren Waller. There's no Travis Kelce this week. The Kansas City Chiefs are on bye. Darren Waller comes in as my number 1 ranked tight end. Kobe, what is going on? This is a good one. There's a lot of good tight ends playing today, by the way. I think all tight ends playing today should probably be in your lineup. We have Darren Waller for the Raiders. If you have Darren Waller, guys, you got to start Darren Waller. If you have Dalton Schultz, you should probably be starting Dalton Schultz as well. It looks like CeeDee Lamb is going to play, by the way. Let's just do a quick, before I dive into the tight ends, we got to do a quick rundown of the injury news, because there actually is a lot of injury news to go through. It's going to impact the games pretty big today. CeeDee Lamb got a concussion in the last game and somehow has cleared the concussion protocol, I think the fastest I've ever seen. He hasn't officially said he's going to play yet, but he's probably going to play. It seems like things are trending towards him playing. It's been trending that way for the last couple of days. So CeeDee Lamb is probably going to play, which means Cedric Wilson is kind of a he's just not very relevant for fantasy this week. I still think Michael Gallup can have a big game against the Raiders. I think Michael Gallup is still really talented and can function and be a fantasy football asset as the number 2 receiver with no Amari Cooper playing. For the Saints, though, there's big injury news for the Saints. Alvin Kamara is out another week. I think this is the 3rd straight week now that Alvin Kamara is out. A pretty brutal stretch for him, missing games. But Mark Ingram is also looking doubtful. The last report about Mark Ingram is that he's unlikely to play. He's on the wrong side of questionable. So we're probably not going to have Mark Ingram, which means Tony Jones is going to be the starting running back for the Saints. Guys, the Saints are so depleted of talent. There's such little talent for the Saints right now. But going back to the tight end conversation, Dawson Knox versus Freemuth. So I got my tight ends on the screen right now, and I don't think either of them are in there. They probably should both be in my top 10. Let me adjust this really quickly. I think I would go Dawson Knox, though, over Freemuth. Muth is a really good play now. I mean, we have Eric Ebron out again, and it looks like he's going to miss extended period of time. So I think I would probably go Knox. I like Knox a lot. Knox had really his first good game back from injury last week, too. So I do like Dawson Knox. Schultz or Pitts? Yeah, you guys, you can't bench Pitts. You can't bench Pitts. I understand wanting to bench Pitts, but you can't bench Pitts. You really just can't. We have TJ Hawkinson playing today, too, who is in my top 10 tight ends. So we have 4 top 10 tight ends playing today. Darren Waller, Dalton Schultz, TJ Hawkinson, and Dawson Knox. All 4 of those guys are in my top 10. And I think Freemuth comes in right at number 10. But there's starting to become some pretty good tight end options in fantasy. I like Dallas Goedert too, and I have him ranked actually ahead of Freemuth. Schultz or Knox? Yeah, I'm leaning towards Schultz over Knox. But it's close. It's definitely close. And I wouldn't knock you for going Knox over Schultz. Guys, we're live on TikTok and YouTube. Happy Thanksgiving. Thankful for every single one of you that's tuned in. And I hope you have a fantastic day. This is my favorite day of the year. It's everything that I love. It's time with my family, time watching football, amazing food. I mean, there's just so much So much to love about Thanksgiving. All right. Pollard or Collins? Yeah, you got it. You got to go with Collins. I'm playing Cole Kmet because why not? What do you think about him? I don't hate it. I mean, there's no Allen Robinson today, too, talking about the injury news for the Bears. And the Bears are up against the Lions. Let me pull up my picks against the spread really quickly. I have a tradition, a family tradition, with one of my older brothers. Every single year, we make a bet with each other. And if you have been following me for a while, you know I really don't risk much money on spreads. Like I think beating spreads is really hard. I still share my picks against the spread, but I'm very open about. I don't usually risk much money against spreads. But every Thanksgiving, me and my oldest brother have a bet against the spreads of every game on Thanksgiving. And I have a lock today that I'm feeling pretty good about. And I don't see how the Bills don't destroy the Saints like in this game. I just don't see it. I'm taking the Bears against the Lions, -3. And I get it. This could be, it's Thanksgiving. The Lions are at home. They're playing against Andy Dalton. And the Bears aren't that good. But, guys, the Lions are the least talented team in the NFL. They have such little talent. They have, significantly less talent than the Jets. And the Jets are one of the least talented teams I've ever seen as well. So I don't know how you could possibly feel good about taking the Lions over the Bears. Sure, the Lions could beat the Bears today. It's Thanksgiving. They're at home. And the Bears really aren't that great, but I'm still taking the Bears over the Lions. The Bears have a lot more talent than the Lions still. It's honestly not that close. Like Darnell Mooney would be the best receiver on the Lions. I would argue that Marquise Goodwin would be the best receiver on the Lions. They just have such little talent, guys. So I'm taking the Bears, and that's why, Corey, why not just take a dart throw with Cole Kmet? He's playing the Lions. The Lions rank bottom 10 in basically every defensive metric you could possibly look at. It's exactly why you got to feel really good about David Montgomery today. Guys, David Montgomery is seeing one of the best workloads in all of football. David Montgomery is seeing one of the best workloads in all of football. If you come to the YouTube live, link is in the TikTok bio. We're live on YouTube too, and you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, all on the YouTube live. My picks against the spread for the day, all just scrolling at the bottom of the screen on the YouTube live. Someone's saying Saints will cover. Yeah, they definitely can. This is why spreads are hard. Saints could cover. What is the spread? 7.5? It's a big spread. But, the Bills, talk about untalented teams. The Saints, no Mark Ingram, no Alvin Kamara, no Michael Thomas, no Adam Trotman, no Jameis Winston. They already didn't have a lot of talent heading into the season, and somehow they have, significantly less. The Saints are another team that against the Bills, I know the Bills are coming off a really bad loss, but the Bills still have the best defense in the NFL. It's the defense for the Bills that really gets me excited about them as a Super Bowl contender. But I pull my top 10 running backs on the YouTube live, and David Montgomery comes in at number 8. We got DeAndre Swift at number 6, Zeke at number 9. We got 3 top 10 running backs playing today. By the way, the number 1 overall running back in Week 12. If you're looking at any rankings and you don't see Christian McCaffrey at number 1 overall, you got to really, really question those rankings. Christian McCaffrey, guys, as long as he stays healthy, he's going to end up winning leagues if you make the playoffs and you have Christian McCaffrey. All right, let's get to some of the comments, guys. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're watching live on YouTube, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Start 2, Odell, Ayuk, or Claypool. Happy Thanksgiving, Colton. I think I really am excited about Odell, man. I want to start Odell. The Rams had their bye at the perfect time. They were really crumbling. They crumbled on national television, but they have so much talent. They've had now 2 weeks to get Odell acclimated. They already saying, their head coach is already saying, yeah, Odell's going to be very involved. I think you can trust Odell Beckham Jr. as a solid wide receiver 2 with wide receiver 1 upside this week. The Rams have been one of the most efficient passing attacks in the NFL. So, yeah, I think you got to start Odell, honestly. Hurts or Prescott? Yeah, so let me pull up my top 10 QBs. Guys, Jalen Hurts, I couldn't be happier about Jalen Hurts. He has been the best late-round quarterback selection, and some people could argue it's Tom Brady, but Jalen Hurts has only had 1 week where he wasn't a top 12 quarterback. So Brady has had some bigger weeks than Jalen Hurts, but Jalen Hurts has been more consistent than Brady. And it's because of the rushing, man. And it's such a safe bet with Jalen Hurts rushing, but I'm still going to go with Dak Prescott over Jalen Hurts. And especially, guys, the Cowboys are the healthiest team, like one of the healthier teams coming into this Thanksgiving slate. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to play. It does seem like things are trending towards CeeDee Lamb playing. But then they're also getting some of their offensive line back today, too, for the first time in a couple games. So, yeah, I like the Cowboys today for that reason. I think Dak Prescott could easily go 300 yards and 3 touchdowns today. Like, that's well within his range of outcomes. That's why I'm taking the Cowboys over the Raiders. Been here for 20 minutes. We have been live for 10 minutes, man. We've been live for 10 minutes. How you been here for 20? I haven't even been here for 20. All right, the question, though, is Tony Jones or Bateman. Logan Thomas. Yeah, guys, don't start 2 tight ends. This is a thing for me. Like, just don't start 2 tight ends. Just don't do it. Like, don't put yourself through the pain of 2 tight ends. Guys, we're live on YouTube and TikTok right now. This question's coming from YouTube. Link is in the bio, in the TikTok bio to come to the YouTube live. We'll be live really for the next hour and a half. And you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends for this week. I'm going to be pulling up my DraftKings lineup for the Thanksgiving slate, talking about some of the player props on YouTube and TikTok live. But you can just get a little bit more information on the YouTube live. So come to the YouTube live. Link is in the TikTok bio. But yeah, I think I'd honestly go Tony Jones or Renfro over Logan Thomas. Bateman's in there too. It's not a good matchup for Tony Jones. But again, you look at the Saints team. Who do the Saints have to give the ball today? Like they not only are missing Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram, Mark Ingram's been averaging close to 20 touches a game. Like the volume is going to be there for Tony Jones. There's such little competition for touches. Like you can make an argument Tony Jones is the most talented player on offense that the Saints have today. Which is, again, I don't know how are you feeling confident about the Saints just covering any spread? They're 7.5 point underdogs. So I'm certainly that's enough points. And you have to be super impressed with how well the Saints have done with what little they have this season. But their starting quarterback is Trevor Siemian. Tony Jones is competing with Dwayne Washington for touches. Marquez Callaway may be the most talented player they have on offense right now. It's against the Bills. The game could end up being high scoring, and it's at home. I think you would go Tony Jones. Tony Jones is going to touch the ball the most out of all those guys. I think he's a running back 3, though. OBJ or A.J. Brown. Yeah, I'd go A.J. Brown over OBJ. I would definitely go with CeeDee Lamb, though, over A.J. Brown. Like, you got to start CeeDee Lamb, guys. You have to start CeeDee Lamb. If he's playing, you got to start. He's that type of guy that you just can't bench. Gordon or Barkley? Are we this down on Barkley? He just came off a game against one of the best rushing defenses in the league, and he's going to only play more this week. You got to start Saquon Barkley, guys. I think I have Saquon in my top 5 or definitely in my top 10. Yeah, he's number 7. CeeDee is out. No, I don't think he's going to be out unless this has been – there's definitely a chance he's out. He's questionable. But I have not seen an official report that he's out. Oh. Status undetermined. This is the latest report I'm seeing as of 15 minutes ago. Status for Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb for today's game against the Raiders remains undetermined. While team has been optimistic, the decision is not entirely in their control. NFL requires players clear a 5-step concussion protocol. Final evaluation comes from independent neurologists. So, it has seemed like all week he was trending towards playing. Like he was in all the meetings. But he's definitely not confirmed out. I've seen nothing saying he's confirmed out. If you have seen something that he's confirmed out, come to the YouTube live and in the comment section, just paste the link, man. We need links. You need links. You need sources for this type of information because that's big news. That's probably the biggest injury news to track today. It looks like Mark Ingram's on the wrong side of questionable as well. But everything that I've not seen a big verified. Oh, I am seeing some people saying like it sounds like he's out. I don't know. Well, I'll keep you updated when we get an official report. And if you are in the YouTube live, guys, paste a link to any verified sources you're seeing. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. We're live on YouTube. We're live on TikTok. And you got to feel excited about Deshaun Jackson today. Guys, I have way too much risked on Deshaun Jackson today. Basically, every prop I made on Underdog this week, Underdog Fantasy, link is in the YouTube description, by the way, if you've never used Underdog. I have Deshaun Jackson's over. I got him at 7.5, over 7.5 receiving yards. Deshaun Jackson's getting at least one catch today. I'm 100% convinced that they are going to get Deshaun Jackson more involved. Will he have a huge game? Like, that's definitely not a lock. But will he get at least one catch that goes over 10 yards? Yeah, I'm pretty confident about that. We also just saw Tyreek Hill in his speed do pretty well against this Cowboys defense. Like, the Cowboys secondary is good, but they let up a lot of big plays. And you look at the plays, and I go back and I rewatch every game every week, and you go back and you look at the plays where Deshaun Jackson's on the field, and the Raiders offense just automatically operated better. Like, he was like demanding coverage. He still has the speed to demand coverage. There was very few plays Deshaun was single covered last week, and he doubled his snap count from the week before. All right, Chase is asking Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, or pick up Djax. Yeah, I wouldn't like. I like Deshaun Jackson this week. I'm not going to play him over any of these guys. I wouldn't play him in fantasy over any of these. I'm not going to play Deshaun Jackson in fantasy. Deshaun Jackson's floor is 0 points. His floor is 0. So we're not playing him in fantasy, but we are taking him over whatever the prop is that Underdog set. They said at 7.5 rushing and receiving yards yesterday. And I was hammering it. It's moved now to 13.5. I still like it at 13.5. Elijah Moore, Jalen Waddle, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy. Yeah, I get Elijah Moore's been on fire, but I'd have a tough time starting him over DJ Moore. I think I would probably go these last two, DJ Moore and Jerry Jeudy, this week over Elijah Moore and Jalen Waddle. Let's get some Thanksgiving questions. By the way, if you do have a source for CeeDee Lamb being officially out, it hasn't been confirmed yet. Has not been confirmed yet. But if you do think it's been confirmed, you can send us a link in the YouTube Live. Link to the YouTube Live is in the TikTok bio. Tony Pollard or Gaskin? Yeah, you got to go Gaskin there. Gaskin's just seeing too much volume. And no, I'm not worried about Phillip Lindsay eating into Gaskin's role. Guys, Phillip Lindsay was playing behind Rex Burkhead and David Johnson, and was cut from the Houston Texans. So, just take a deep breath, Dolphins fans, and don't get too excited about Phillip Lindsay. Top scorer today. Yeah. If we're talking all positions, it's got to be Josh Allen. I think Josh Allen outscores Dak Prescott. But it's probably Josh Allen or Dak Prescott. If we remove quarterbacks, though, I think that becomes a much more interesting conversation. Personally, I'd probably take David Montgomery. I actually have DeAndre Swift ranked ahead of David Montgomery. But I like David Montgomery as his ceiling to me is so high. And his floor is really high, too. Maybe DeAndre Swift has a higher ceiling because of his receiving role. But, guys, David Montgomery is not coming off the field for the Bears. He played 95% of the snaps last week. No team has allowed more rushing attempts per game than the Lions. And no team is running at a higher rate than the Bears. This is the perfect matchup for David Montgomery. Last time he played them, which was back in week 4 or 5, he had 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Well within the range of outcomes for him again today. Even more so, with Andy Dalton starting at quarterback, Montgomery could easily cross 20 carries, more than 20 carries, and multiple touchdowns. So I like Montgomery a lot. I don't think it's going to be Zeke. Zeke, I feel like, is the type of guy that can feast on Thanksgiving, and it sounds like he's going to be playing his normal allotment of snaps, even though he's dealing with some sort of an injury. But yeah, I think I think I would probably go with David Montgomery. And if you go receiver, it's Stephon Diggs or CeeDee Lamb. Hey Sam, I'm in a big hole. I need a running back too with Edmonds and now Carter out. Who do you recommend to pick up if you give a few ideas? That would be great. Yeah, Ty, go see if Tony Jones is available and play him today, because it looks like Alvin Kamara is going to be out, and it looks like Mark Ingram is going to be out. Well, Alvin Kamara is out, and it looks like Mark Ingram will be out. I'm seeing the latest report I'm seeing, guys, on Roto World. Pretty reliable news source is that CeeDee Lamb's status for the game today is still undetermined. It's undetermined. So we are still waiting for clarity. 5, almost 6 month subscriber. Thank you so much. Guys, if you haven't checked out the WalterPicks app yet, the link is in the TikTok bio. The link is in the YouTube description. You got to check it out. We got a Black Friday sale going on right now. 40% off just for you, the live listeners. If you go to the WalterPicks app in the iOS App Store. It's coming to the Android very soon. You get 40% off. And when you subscribe to the WalterPicks app, it's a 365-day subscription. So you're not just subscribing for the rest of the season. You subscribe now at the discounted price. You're also going to get the draft tool, which absolutely dominated this season. It's going to be even better next year. You get the whole rest of the NFL season start sit tool, trade analyzer if your trade deadline hasn't passed yet. You get the DraftKings and FanDuel favorites every week, the player prop picks, which have been dominating. We got 3 player prop picks today, by the way, one of which is Deshaun Jackson, over 7.5 rushing and receiving yards. It's moved now to 13.5. We moved this line, guys. I don't know if anyone else was taking this, but this, like, as of last night, it was at 7.5. We sent out a push notification to all of our subscribers, and as of this morning, it moved to 13.5. Pretty good sign for the Deshaun Jackson prop. So thanks for subscribing, man. I appreciate it. Number one way you could possibly support me. Thankful. I could not be more thankful for all of our WalterPicks subscribers. Derek Carr or Tyrod Taylor. Yeah, I think I'd probably go Derek Carr. I like Tyrod Taylor as a pretty good streamer this week, but I like Derek Carr more. I think Derek Carr has a higher ceiling than Tyrod Taylor, who did look pretty good, and he's the rushing was exciting for him last week. But I still think Derek Carr's a higher ceiling. Happy Thanksgiving. Tony Jones a trap. Yeah, he's not a lock. Philip, he's probably going to get 15 plus touches, assuming Mark Ingram's out, because Alvin Kamara's also out. So 15 plus touches, he can still be a trap because the Bills are the number 1 rushing defense in the NFL and the number 2 passing defense in the NFL. The Bills defense is very real. The Bills defense is what makes the Bills Super Bowl contenders. All right, so a ton of people are reporting. Calvin, man, you gotta link your source in the YouTube live. Because I agree. I know that there's a chance CeeDee Lamb's out, but I've not seen an official report. You think Patterson will play Sunday? Yeah, I do. Per Jay Glazer, I'm seeing in the TikTok live. Let's see, Jay Glazer. Let's see. Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb was not able to pass the final steps of the concussion protocol and will not play today, per Jay Glazer. Dallas is down Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb. Guys, CeeDee Lamb's out. It's official. Guys, by the way, the chat is always ahead. The chat knew before Jay Glazer knew. Crazy. I mean, I really do. I do trust the chat. But, of course, we need sources to officially announce because, of course. But CeeDee Lamb's out. Guys, CeeDee Lamb is out. CeeDee Lamb is out this week, and it's big news. It is big news, and I'll update the app right now for all the WalterPicks subscribers. CeeDee Lamb's out. That means this is a big deal because it does mean Cedric Wilson is startable in fantasy in some leagues. Cedric Wilson is going to have a near every down role now for the Cowboys. Michael Gallup, obviously startable. He was going to be startable with or without CeeDee Lamb, but his upside rises. I'd say his floor stays about the same, honestly. It might have actually ended up being a good thing if CeeDee Lamb played for him. But Michael Gallup's, his ceiling rises now. CeeDee Lamb is out. Officially confirmed out. And they really tried to get Russian back. This would have been one of the fastest turnarounds for a concussion that I've ever seen. But he's almost definitely going to be back next week. But he's out. CeeDee Lamb out. Which means Michael Gallup in, and Cedric Wilson in. Cedric Wilson now becomes kind of a must-start player in DFS. And if you're playing DraftKings or FanDuel this week, and I do have a bunch of lineups that I'll have to update now, Cedric Wilson is the number 1 wide receiver value, and Tony Jones is the number 1 running back value because Mark Ingram also out. Cedric Wilson or Rashad Bateman. I think I would probably still go Bateman over Cedric Wilson. Yo, happy Thanksgiving, Yarjma. It's going so great, man. So I ran a 5K this morning. Chat in the YouTube or the TikTok. Let me know. You take a guess. If anyone guesses my exact time on the 5K, 3.1 miles that I ran this morning, I'll give you a free WalterPicks subscription. Guess the time, Yarjma, in the chat. If you guess the exact time, minutes and seconds, how fast I was able to run 3.1 miles, I'll give you a free 1-year WalterPicks subscription. If you can guess it right in the chat. But it's going great, Yarjma. This is my favorite day of the year, man. We got family. We got football all day. We got football all day, and we got amazing food all day long as well. I mean, it's just the best. 5:24. This is 3.1 miles, Ronan. The fastest I played soccer in college. We had to run a 1 mile test. The fastest I ever ran the 1 mile. This will be a little bit of a hint for you guys. And I'm not in the same shape I was back then. But the fastest I ever ran a mile was actually 5:26. 5:26 is my fastest mile ever. All right, QB rankings. I'm seeing someone ask QB rankings. People are guessing in the YouTube live and in the TikTok live the official time. I don't think anyone's got it yet. People are giving me a lot of credit here, honestly, with the speed. Jackson, I was faster than this. I was faster than 28 minutes. I was faster than 26 minutes. I was slower than 22, though. I was slower than 22. Kevin, I think this one's really close, but not quite. All right, Ingram or Lamb? Ingram or Lamb? I would probably go Ingram or Lamb. They're both out. I've seen Ingram and Lamb. They're both out. Mark Ingram is out almost definitely today, and CeeDee Lamb has been officially confirmed out. We're getting close, and I think Alec, I think you got it, man. We have so we got a couple people. I think Alec was the first one, or is he the first one I noticed? So Alec, all you got to do is see. I think I can. I think Alec, all you got to do is just send me an email. The email's in the app, and I got you with a free subscription. 24:16 is how fast I ran the 5K this morning. I should have been a little bit faster, honestly, but it's okay. Happy Thanksgiving, Sam. Is it reasonable to bench Hawk today? I'm second by points and facing first to clinch playoff spot. Ingram or Knox? Yeah, it's reasonable to bench. It is reasonable to bench Hawk today. I think starting Knox over him isn't the craziest thing. I have them ranked back to back in my rankings. Yeah, my top 10 tight end rankings on the YouTube live right now. Link is in the TikTok bio. Schultz, Gronk, or Freiermuth? Schultz, Gronk, or Freiermuth? Sam with that speed. Yeah, I don't know if it was pretty average speed, honestly, for my age range. The fastest when I was in college, I could run a 5K in under 21. So that was real speed. Mooney, Ayuk, Cooks pick 2. Yeah, I think you bench Mooney there. I don't know. The Mooney had 16 targets last week. 16 targets. That's insane. And the last time he played the Lions, he went over 100 yards, and he went over 100 yards last week too on 16 targets, and no Allen Robinson today either. So honestly, maybe I'd go with Mooney and Ayuk, and bench Cooks. Even though I do like the matchup for Cooks this week too. Van Jefferson or Cedric Wilson? Lamb is playing. Oh, come on. Chat, don't do this to me. Jay Glazer reported he's not playing. Is he playing now? It does not look like Ingram's going to play, no. CeeDee Lamb did not clear concussion protocol. He's out. CeeDee Lamb is out. So get CeeDee Lamb out of your lineups, guys. CeeDee Lamb's out. It looks like Mark Ingram's on the wrong side of questionable too. So it looks like you got to get Mark Ingram out of your lineups. This is a boost for Cedric Wilson. It's a boost for Michael Gallup. And it is a boost for Tony Jones. Allen Robinson officially out as well. Fournette or Devontae Smith? Devontae Smith's been balling, man. Devontae Smith has been balling, and you just love to see it. There was not a single wide receiver I drafted more in best ball leagues. Is Mark Ingram playing? No, I don't think he is. It's not officially confirmed yet because they're at the night game tonight, but it looks unlikely. Wide receiver rankings. Yeah, if you come to the YouTube live, you can see my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Got the top 10 wide receivers on the screen right now. I think I had CeeDee Lamb in there. No, I didn't. I think he actually was coming in at number 13 before he was ruled out. Gallup or Higgins? Yeah, you got to go Gallup over Higgins. CeeDee Lamb is out today. If Mark Ingram is active, should I play him? Yeah, Zach, that's a good question. Probably not. There's two sides to every start-sit decision. But I would argue there's probably 30 running backs better than Mark Ingram this week. Happy Thanksgiving, Sam. Gave the app a 5-star review. JV, thank you so much. Guys, this is one of the easiest ways to help me out at zero cost at all. It takes like 30 seconds. Toss the WalterPicks app, a 5-star review in the iOS App Store. If you haven't checked out the app yet, got to go check it out. Completely free to download. Takes you 30 seconds to toss a 5-star review. It helps us out so much. All right, let's take a look at the question here. Gave the app a 5-star review. I traded Mike Evans and Deontay Johnson. Sorry, I got something blocking the screen here. And Henderson for Deontay and Keenan. I don't think that's terrible. I have Zeke and Monty. Yeah, you're chilling. I don't hate it. I like Darrell Henderson's schedule through the last stretch of the season. I feel like Darrell Henderson has league-winning upside. But you already have 2 running backs with league-winning upside, so I don't hate it again. Hey, Sam, tuning in again, and I'm an app user for Flex, Devontae Freeman or Van Jefferson. Carson, thanks for tuning in, man. Yeah, I think you go Devontae Freeman. Van Jefferson is really he's kind of dead now. With Odell in the lineup, it's not very exciting for Van Jefferson. Is it okay to start Pollard and Zeke? Yeah, Sam, it is. It is fine. They're favorites. They're favorites today. I think they beat the Raiders. They're at home. I think it's fine to start both. It's a safe approach. It is a safe approach. But it's not the highest upside approach, right? Because the odds that at least one of those running backs scores a touchdown is higher combined. Gibson or Jacobs, please. Big fan. Can't wait for Android app. Peter, can't wait to get you the Android app, man. Gibson or Jacobs. Jacobs is such a tough guy to trust. But I think you kind of have to trust him. He played 65% of the snaps last week, which was actually one of his highest rates of the season. But more encouraging for Josh Jacobs, he's actually more involved as a receiver than Antonio Gibson is. And, man, heading into the season, I posted a video about how wrong I was about Antonio Gibson heading into the season this week. If you had told me Josh Jacobs would outscore, if you had told me Josh Jacobs would out-receive Antonio Gibson on a weekly basis, I would have laughed. But this is where we're at. And Josh Jacobs, I think he had 5 catches last week. He only had 9 carries. And I do think the Cowboys are going to do well. Who does Washington get again this week? Let me pull this up. I think I would go with Josh Jacobs today. Yeah, they get the Seahawks. Not a very good run defense at home too. Yeah, I think I changed my mind now seeing the matchup. I think I would go Antonio Gibson. I think you bench Josh Jacobs. If it's a PPR, I think it's much closer though. Pitts or Knox? Yeah, I do have Pitts ranked number 3 this week. Guys, you got to start Pitts. They're playing the Jaguars. If there's any defense that's just gonna not focus on Kyle Pitts, it's the Jaguars. You got to start Kyle Pitts. I would play Waddle over Cedric Wilson 100%. Cedric Wilson's only a deep play. He has upside, but it's only deep. It's a deep league upside. He's like a wide receiver 4. Even with Patterson out. Yeah, I don't think Patterson being out moves me off of Kyle Pitts. And I don't think Patterson's officially out. I haven't seen that he's officially out. I could be wrong about that. But I've not seen that he's officially out. Guys, we have 3 games on our television today. Is Robinson playing? No, Allen Robinson is not playing. There's a lot of guys not playing. It's that time of the season, man. Injuries are the worst part of sports. Someone asked him for the running back rankings. Let me pull those up on the YouTube live. Christian McCaffrey, by the way, against the Dolphins. Christian McCaffrey's going to have close to 200 total yards this week. I hope you're not going against Christian McCaffrey this week. We have CeeDee Lamb out. Amari Cooper out. Allen Robinson out. Justin Fields out. Alvin Kamara out. Mark Ingram out. I think I'm still missing some. I think I'm still missing some of the injuries. A lot of injuries. There's a lot of injuries today. Sanders or Ayuk? If it's a PPR league, I think you go Ayuk. Who's really been on a tear recently. I love the content. Thanks, man. Who do I start, Ayuk or Gallup? Yeah, I'd go Gallup over Ayuk, though. Gallup has really high upside, guys. He has really high upside. Like, if you have Gallup, you should probably be playing him. We didn't really see it in that last game. Like, he didn't have a very good game last game. But Gallup has talent. And the Cowboys' offensive line is about as healthy as it's been this entire season. One of the top 5 offensive lines in the league. And Gallup really, like, he's missed most of the season. He played week 1, got hurt in week 1. And last week was his first week with over 60% of the snaps. And he turned that into 10 targets. And 2 reds. He had 113 air yards. You got to start Gallup. You have to start Michael Gallup if you have him. He's one of the few must starts today. You got to start Michael Gallup if you have him today. You have to start Dak Prescott if you have him today. You have to start some of the running backs too. You got to start Zeke. Even though Zeke's been like a little sketchy recently in fantasy, he's still on this Cowboys team with the offensive line healthy. You need to start Zeke. You need to start David Montgomery, and you need to start DeAndre Swift too. You don't need to start Tony Jones. You don't need to start Tony Jones. You don't need to start Josh Jacobs. You probably should, but you don't need to. But you do need to start Michael Gallup. And you definitely need to start Darnell Mooney as well. There's a lot of tight ends you can feel really good about too. Ingram, Jones, whichever one starts. Or Burkhead. Ryan, come on, man. We're not so down bad that we're going to be starting Rex Burkhead. And like, I know he's a Patriot. I like Rex Burkhead, but in fantasy, Rex Burkhead's floor is just way too low. Like, there's no way Rex Burkhead touches the ball as much as whoever starts for the Saints today. Just no chance. Thanksgiving question: Carr or Wentz? Yeah, Carson Wentz up against the Bucs this week. I could also pick up Danny Dimes or Teddy Bridgewater. Also, Van Jefferson, Jeff Wilson, Cedric Wilson at flex. Yeah, again, I don't think you should be starting Van Jefferson. I really don't think you should be starting Van Jefferson. I would go with Jeff Wilson if Elijah Mitchell is out. I actually just saw a report about Elijah Mitchell. What was the Elijah Mitchell report? Elijah Mitchell, he took pitches and handoffs during Wednesday practice, but did not catch passes and only handled the ball with his healthy left hand. It's up in the air. So, yeah, it depends. This one depends. And obviously, you got to start it. You got to decide about Cedric Wilson now. But yeah, I would probably wait here, since you added Ty Johnson to the end of that question, guys. With Michael Carter out, Ty Johnson, and Tevin Coleman, and I know it's not going to be fun rooting for Jets running backs, but they do have some standalone value in PPR leagues. The Jets throw to their running backs a lot. So I think you just wait this one out and hope for Jeff Wilson to play. As for the quarterbacks, I think you go with Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr is the highest upside of all of those guys. Happy Thanksgiving, Sam. 2 questions: Cam or Herbert, and Mooney, T or Bateman. Yeah, I think you go Herbert and Mooney. You can't be benching Herbert. Kareem Hunt, would you play right away? Yeah, I would. As soon as Kareem Hunt's back, I'd play him. Freeman or Judy flex? Judy, definitely. Thoughts on Javonte Williams this week? Yeah, it's the same thing every week, really, for Javonte Williams. The talent is so clearly there for Javonte Williams. At this point, and this is a little selfish of me, but at this point, I am rooting for Javonte Williams to do nothing the rest of the season so that we can all win our fantasy leagues next year, because the casual fans just won't realize how good Javonte Williams is. He's really good, like extremely talented. He could be the most talented rookie running back. He could. That's how good Javonte Williams is. Like, there's very few players that have been as efficient as Javonte Williams. He's number 8 in breakaway run rate, 15th in yards created per touch. Like, all the efficiency metrics, he's just popping off the page. He just doesn't get the volume. This is the problem. Last week was his highest snap share of the season. He played 53% of the snaps. Like, he hasn't been a top 12 running back. He's only been a top 12 running back once this season. Only over 15 points once. So yeah, I'm not feeling great about him. But the talent is there. It's not a talent issue with him. Answer my question, Isaac. Renfro, Bateman, Javonte Williams, half PPR. Yeah, I wouldn't go with Javonte Williams there. Honestly, I think with Lamar coming back, I'd like Bateman a little bit more than Renfro. Chubb, Saquon, Monty, pick 2. No, I don't want to pick 2. You got to start all 3 of those guys. You have a flex spot. You have 2 running back slots. You start all 3 of those guys. You don't bench Chubb. You don't bench Saquon. And I'm forgetting who the third guy was now too. Yeah, you don't bench David Montgomery today. Definitely don't bench David Montgomery today. Don't ruin your Thanksgiving by benching David Montgomery. He's up against the Lions. He went over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Lions last time they played. No defenses run against more than the Detroit Lions, and no offense runs at a higher rate than the Chicago Bears. He played 95% of the snaps last week for the Bears. So yes, start David Montgomery. Hawkinson or Freemuth? Yeah. Honestly, I think you go Hawk over Muth. I know Muth's been on a tear and Ebron's out. I still think Hawk is a little bit better. I still think Hawk gets more targets than Muth this week. Elijah Mitchell or Javonte Williams? If Elijah Mitchell plays, it's Javonte Williams. I mean, if Elijah Mitchell plays, it's Elijah Mitchell. But it looks like he's really up in the air to play. But if you were choosing between all of these guys, I'd probably go Jerry Jeudy, then Elijah Moore. I'd probably go Jerry Jeudy, then Mike Williams, then Elijah Moore, then Elijah Mitchell, then Javonte Williams. Thoughts on A.J. Brown? Yeah, guys, A.J. Brown's going to be fine. If A.J. Brown is healthy, he's going to be fine. Like, I don't know why so many people – like, I get that he hasn't been great. He's been pretty inconsistent. But A.J. Brown's a top 10 receiver in the league with, like, really minimal competition for targets because the corpus of Julio Jones just can't stay on the field. So A.J. Brown's had 3 straight games under 50 yards. Like, he was hurt last week, though. And he's had at least 9 targets in almost every game this season. I'm not that worried about him. I'm not. This week could be tough for him, though, against the Pats, who we know are really good at taking away teams' best players. Miles Sanders or Ayuk at flex? I'd go Ayuk or the bazooka. Guys, we gotta get the Thanksgiving Day questions in. Specific Thanksgiving Day questions we got to prioritize because we'll be live Sunday morning to answer a lot of these other start-sit questions, and we'll have more info, too, Sunday morning. Is Cedric Wilson a good start with CeeDee Lamb out? Yeah, he's an okay start. Like, I think there is real upside with Cedric Wilson. I like the Cowboys offense in general. So, like, I do think there's upside there. I don't think he's a must-start, though. But, yeah, it's your flex or wide receiver 3. I don't hate it. Please pick 3. Mike Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Josh Jacobs, Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, you got to start Josh Jacobs. There's no guarantee Elijah Mitchell's even going to start. And it also, like, the report that we just read, too, was that Elijah Mitchell in practice did not handle any catches. Like, he might not even be able to catch the ball. Like, he might only be able to take handoffs because of his finger injury. And that's not good for fantasy. So, that's a little concerning for Elijah Mitchell. Dak or Newton? Yeah, listen, I'm hyped about Cam Newton, too, but you got to start Dak. And hopefully, guys, if you're a WalterPicks subscriber, I hope you cashed on the Cam Newton rushing lock last week. They set his rushing prop at like 24.5 or something ridiculously low like that. He rushed for almost 50 yards. Almost doubled his prop. Thanksgiving question. Deshaun Jackson, I really want to start him. No, I really want to start him too. I actually might start him in one of my leagues. Just because, like, I already have a lot of, personally, I do have a lot risked on Deshaun Jackson today. It's definitely over 200 risked on Deshaun Jackson today. And that's a lot for me on one player. But his over-unders also was 7.5. So, like, the floor for Deshaun Jackson, like, if we're being real, is super low. The floor is 0 points. He had 0 points last week. But I do think Deshaun's going to be involved more today. I think he's going to set another record for snap percentage this week. Goodwin or Deshaun? Yeah, I like Deshaun more than Goodwin. I do. I like Deshaun more than Goodwin. The Raiders' offense was better with Deshaun on the field last week. He played twice as amount of snaps. He had to come off the field when they were playing hurry up because he just doesn't know the playbook well enough yet. That could be different this week. I think he plays at least half the snaps. Like, they didn't sign Deshaun Jackson and give him $2 million directly after the Henry Ruggs situation to not play him. They need Deshaun Jackson. They really do. This offense needs Deshaun Jackson. I know he's super old. That's bullcrap. A.J. Brown is not top 10. He is, man. He is. A.J. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver. I don't think you could convince me otherwise. I know there's a lot of good wide receivers. But you look at yards per route run, one of my favorite stats. One of my favorite stats for wide receivers. In terms of, like, I don't think it matters that much for fantasy. But in terms of efficiency, and you just think about what this stat means for guys that play lots of snaps and run lots of routes. Yards per route run. How efficient are you per route that you're running? A.J. Brown ranks number 10. He ranks number 10, top 10 in the league. Last year, he was top 10 as well. In his rookie year, he was top 10. He was number 2 in the league in yards per route run last year. In his rookie year, he was number 2 in the league. So A.J. Brown, in terms of yards per route run, rookie season, number 2. Sophomore season, number 2. This season, dealing with a lot of injuries, number 10. A.J. Brown's a top 10 receiver. Maybe not in fantasy, but in real life, yes. Like, I don't think if we started a real NFL draft today, that I would let I would take 10 receivers over A.J. Brown. I'm so lucky I'm playing the best team in my league, but he is all the Chiefs players. Yeah, I mean, that's fire. You love that. Trade Diggs for Saquon. Yeah, if you need a running back, Kevin, I would do that. I like Stephon Diggs a lot, but Saquon's also, like, he's back. And we shouldn't assume we know that Saquon's going to get hurt all of a sudden. Mooney or A.J. Brown. Yeah, I think you go Mooney over A.J. Brown right now. This week, as I finish talking about him as a top 10 receiver. Yeah, I do think you go down on Mooney. Nico, I think you go down on Mooney over A.J. Brown, man. Start Ingram if he plays. I don't think he's a must start. The Bills' run defense is really good. They're really good. I think they're the number 2 best run defense. I know they just got, maybe that's like skewed a little bit now after last week. Jonathan Taylor, literally five touchdowns for Jonathan Taylor last week. It was reminiscent of that Alvin Kamara game on Christmas last year. Just nothing the Bills could do to stop Jonathan Taylor. But the Bills are still a good defense. That's why I'm still taking the Bills to win today. That's why I don't think Mark Ingram's a must start if he plays. Bucs defense or Cowboys defense? Yeah, I think I would go with the Bucs defense over the Cowboys defense. Guys, if you come to the YouTube Live, link is in the TikTok bio. I got my picks against the spread on the screen right now, and I do have a lock today. The locks have been, honestly, even more accurate than I could have possibly hoped for this season against the spread. We took the Pats as a lock last week at -7. That one was easy. This week, I'm taking the Bills. They're -6 in New Orleans. I'm pretty down on the Saints just in terms of the talent on the team. The Bills have the only thing that the Saints have better than the Bills is their offensive line. The Bills have a significantly better quarterback, significantly better receivers, significantly more talented running backs this week. A significantly better defense too. So I don't know. I think the Bills could destroy the Saints. Hey Sam, big question. Love the big questions. Gallup or Mooney, standard league. So who's scoring TDs? Yeah. Standard league does change this question. In a PPR league, I think you almost have to go Mooney against a worse defense. But I think you go Gallup in a standard league. I would go Gallup. Like the Cowboys offense is just so much better than the Bears offense. The Cowboys are going to score more points than the Bears today. They're also going to pass a lot more. Again, I'll say this stat again because I think it's important for fantasy decisions and just our expectations of this first game. Bears versus the Lions. No team has been ran against more than the Detroit Lions. So teams playing the Detroit Lions have more rushing attempts than any other opponent. And then the Bears have the highest rush percentage in the league. The percentage of plays that they run, they have the highest percent of running plays. The Bears run the ball even when they're losing, like at a significant rate. And I don't think they're going to be losing today. So it does come into question, like how many passing yards is Andy Dalton really going to have? How many passing attempts is he going to have? It could be pretty low if they get an early lead. So I do like Gallup stealing more than Mooney, especially in a standard league, because standard leagues, God, they're the worst. Not a huge fan of standard leagues, because it really is just like who's going to score the touchdown, which is pretty unpredictable. But yeah, I like Gallup a little more. Zeke or Montgomery? I like Monty more than Zeke. I do. I like Monty more than Zeke. I have Monty ranked one spot ahead. Come to the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio. I do have David Montgomery ranked one spot ahead of Ezekiel Elliott. Cedric Wilson or hope AJ Brown plays. You got to hope A.J. Brown plays. I wouldn't play Cedric Wilson over A.J. Brown. Hope A.J. Brown plays, and like if he doesn't play, you're going to be able to find something on the waiver wire that's like relatively comparable to what Cedric Wilson's going to give us. I do. Thoughts on Bears under parlay? I don't hate that, Matt. Your bio always catches my eye, man. It makes me laugh. I don't hate it, though. I don't hate it. Happy Thanksgiving, Sam. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. So much to be thankful for today. Thankful for everyone tuned in right now. We got football. We got family. We got food today. It's just a fantastic day. I do hope all of you enjoy it. Tough one here. Got to start 3 out of Mooney, Renfrow, A.J. Brown, Ayuk, and Devontae Smith. You have to start Devontae Smith. And I think you have to start Mooney in this situation too. So it's really between Renfrow, A.J. Brown, Ayuk. And in this is really like what are you looking for here, Matt? Are you going for the ceiling? If you're going for the ceiling, you wait and hope for A.J. Brown. But if you're not going for the ceiling, I don't think you're crazy for going Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow is the perfect floor play. I wrote about this in one of our DraftKings favorites this week in the app. Again, if you download the WalterPicks app, you get DraftKings FanDuel advice, player prop advice, start sit, trade analyzer, everything powered by machine learning. And you look at the game logs for Hunter Renfrow this season, and like it paints a pretty clear picture. Let me pull this up really quick. Hunter Renfrow, he's had at least 5 catches and 45 yards in 80% of his games, 8 out of 10. He hasn't had a single game, though, with more than 80 yards. So, again, 80% of his games, he's had at least 5 catches and 45 yards, but not a single time has he gone over 80 yards. This is Hunter Renfrow. So, he has a good floor. His floor is basically 10 points. That's a pretty good floor. It's a pretty good floor. But the ceiling's not really there. Like, I would definitely argue that A.J. Brown's ceiling is much better. So I think I would hold out hope for A.J. Brown here too. Thanksgiving question, which one to bench? Thielen, James Robinson, Jacobs, Keenan Allen. I think this one's Jacobs. I think you bench Jacobs here. Who do I start, Gallup, Patterson, or Brandon Cooks? Choose in order, please. Yeah, so I think Patterson is going to play this week, though. The chat has said, a few different people have said that they don't think he's going to play. So I think you got to take that into consideration here because he didn't play last week. He's not a lock to play this week until we get official reports that he's practicing in full. Let me pull this up really quickly. The last report about Cordero Patterson was that he was a limited participant in practice, which is kind of a good sign. And they played Thursday night, so he's had some time. So assuming Cordero Patterson plays, I think I would go Gallup, Patterson, Cooks. If obviously Patterson doesn't play, that changes things a little bit. Schultz or Waller. Yeah, guys, you got to start Darren Waller. You have to start Darren Waller. He's my number 1 tight end this week. If you come to the YouTube Live at the bottom of the screen, link is in the TikTok bio, by the way, for the YouTube Live. Darren Waller is my number 1 overall tight end. Thanksgiving question, Russ or Tyrod Taylor, Bills D or Texans D? Guys, I understand being down on Russ. I do. It's been honestly sad. It's been sad to watch Russ be as bad as Russ has been. To me, Russell Wilson's already a Hall of Fame QB, one of the most talented QBs we've ever seen, and he still has really good receivers. Like, we can't be starting Tyrod Taylor over Russ. He's gotten under 10 points. He's now got under 10 points in each of his last 2 games. Under 60%. He's an under 55% completion percentage each of his last. Like, he's played bad. But you got to start Russ. You still have to start Russ. And they get Washington this week. Such a good bounce back spot for Russ. I'll be playing some DraftKings tournament lineups with Russ this week, 100%. I'm not going to be like, you can't start Tyrod over. I know the matchup's good for Tyrod too. DK Metcalf or McLaurin? Yeah, I think I'd go Metcalf. I think I'd go Metcalf over McLaurin. Bears D or Texans? Oh, the other part of this question that I think was about the Bills defense. Guys, start the Bills defense. Start the Bills defense. If you have the Bills defense, start the Bills defense. Look who the Saints have on offense today. We already walked through it a little bit earlier in the stream, but it's Trevor Siemian, it's Tony Jones, Marquez Callaway. There's just such little talent. Start the Bills defense. You got to start the Bills defense. You got to start the Bills. The Bills to me, I would be really surprised if the Bills lose to the Saints this week. I would be really surprised. That's why the Bills for me are a lock against the spread, -6. They're a lock against the spread at -6. So you got to take the Bills. You got to take the Bills. Like the Bills have a better quarterback. They have better running backs today, better receivers, a better defense. The only thing they aren't better at than the Saints are the offensive line. That's it. And the coaching. I guess you could say the coaching too. Got to be pretty impressed with the Saints coaching this season. Thanksgiving question, Cole Beasley, been here for an hour. Thanks for tuning in, man. We haven't been live for quite 1 hour, but it's close. So I do appreciate you tuning in. I'm thankful for you, seriously. But I mean, is this a real? Is this is the question, Braden? Cole Beasley, question mark. Yeah, I mean, I do like Cole Beasley. I do like Cole Beasley. If that's the question, I like him. I think you can start Cole Beasley in PPR league pretty comfortably. And this is also the healthiest Cole Beasley has been in a while. I feel like this has kind of flown under the radar a little bit. Cole Beasley, like, honestly, he similar to Julian Edelman. And like, I'm not saying that just because they're both white. Like, they both battle through injuries and just, like, dominate in the slot. And Cole Beasley's been battling through injuries. He hasn't played more than 52% of the snaps since week 9. But he practiced in full this week. He's back to full health. Like, I do think he has a pretty good floor. I think his floor today is 7 points. And we've seen him have 20-point games. Like, he's like a better version of Hunter Renfrow. Cole Beasley's like a better version of Hunter Renfrow. We were saying it earlier. Hunter Renfrow, he hasn't had a single game over 80 yards, but he has almost every game over 45 yards. Pittman or Mooney and Patterson or AJ, guys, start AJ Dillon. Start AJ Dillon. I know he didn't have the best week last week, but with the workload AJ Dillon is seeing in this offense without Aaron Jones, you need to start AJ Dillon. Like, there's really no way around it. He's a top 10 running back in fantasy this week. The Quadzilla must be started. Played 78% of the snaps last. He had 96. He still had a good week. Like, it felt like he had a bad game in fantasy because he didn't score a touchdown. But he still had 17 touches. He had 6 catches, almost 100 yards, 15 points, almost 16 in PPR. So yeah, definitely start AJ Dillon. Pittman versus Mooney is closer. I'd probably go Mooney though over Pittman. I do think Pittman's in a pretty good bounce back spot. Yeah, again, I think you need to start Kyle Pitts, Grayson. This question's Kyle Pitts or Dawson Knox. Start Kyle Pitts. Tony Jones thoughts. Yeah, like the volume should be there for Tony Jones. Because again, you look at the Saints offense, and the Saints really are built as a run-first team this season. The only talent they have on the whole team is the offensive line. And we've seen the running backs get fed. So if Mark Ingram's out, which it looks like he's going to be, Tony Jones is a volume-based running back 3 for me. Because I think he has a path to 15-plus touches. Like, that's what I expect for him. But the matchup's not good. Like, the matchup is not good. Last week, Mark Ingram, 22 touches. The week before that, 18 touches. The week before that, 14 touches. So, yeah, I think Tony Jones gets at least 15 touches. And that matters in fantasy. But the matchup's definitely not good. So, I don't think he's a lock. Knox or Hawk? Yeah. That one's super close. I think my rankings have Hawk 1 spot ahead of Knox. I could easily be wrong about that. I personally would go Hawk. But, I mean, it's tough. Like, I usually like the tiebreaker for pass catchers for me is who's on the better offense, who has the better quarterback. And, I mean, that one's really not that close. It's Jared Goff versus Josh Allen. Hey, what's up, Sam? I downloaded the app, but what do you think? Sean, this is the best way to phrase a question. Makes me very likely to answer the question, Sean. Seriously, like I've spent over 10,000 hours of my life building the WalterPicks app to give us the best median projections in fantasy football that exist. Because it uses machine learning, AI, millions of data points to give us just the best median projection, but also a range of outcomes. I think approaching fantasy football in terms of range of outcomes is really the next evolution of fantasy. Like because it's what it is. It's a high variance game. You got to understand the floor and ceiling for every player to make the best decisions. So, Sean, I appreciate you checking it out. Alex Collins or Devonta Freeman? Yeah, I think I would go Alex Collins. With no Chris Carson, I think I'd go Alex Collins. But it's definitely a close one. The thing about Devonta Freeman, like he can have a good game and we've talked about this on these streams before about the Ravens running backs. Like Devontae Freeman could have 70 yards and end with 7 points because they barely throw to the running backs in that offense. And then you also have Lamar as a threat and Latavius Murray as a threat to steal the touchdowns. So like the touchdown upside is really not that high. And he scored 4 touchdowns in his last 5 games. And I don't think that pace is going to continue. But he had 16 carries last week. That was also without Lamar Jackson. So yeah, I think I would probably bench Devontae Freeman in this situation. I'm not sure what the WalterPicks app would say. It's probably pretty close on the app. CMC, Najee, Robinson, Swift, pick 3 non-PPR. Christian McCaffrey has to be started. We're not asking questions about Christian McCaffrey. Najee Harris also has to be started, and Swift has to be started too. Yeah, you got to bench Robinson. You have 3 top 6 running backs. Nice job. Pittman or Mooney? And yeah, I think I answered this one, Jacob. I'd go AJ Dillon and Mooney. Happy Thanksgiving, guys! Happy Thanksgiving. This is the best day of the year. This is my favorite day of the year. We got family, we got football, we got great food. It's just all around. It's just such a good day. Patterson, Mooney, or Gallup, pick 2. Again, we don't know for sure Patterson's going to play. Assuming he plays, though, I think I would go with Patterson. Mooney versus Gallup is really close. It is really close. Like I think I like Gallup more than Mooney. In a PPR league, though, I'd probably play Mooney over Gallup. But anything less than the full PPR, if it's half PPR or if it's standard, I'm going Gallup over Mooney. Like I think Gallup's ceiling is still higher than Mooney's because the Cowboys offense is just so much better than the Bears. And the Cowboys offense is going to throw so much more than the Bears today. The Cowboys could have double the amount of passing attempts as the Bears today. Like very possible. The Bears run at a higher rate than every other team in the league. And the Lions have been run against at a higher rate than every other defense in the league. So we have the most run-heavy offense versus the most run-heavy defense. That's the Bears versus the Lions in this first game. Coming up, guys, we're like 40 minutes from kickoff, man. I'm getting excited. Can't wait for football all day. And usually the primetime games, like I actually don't like that much because there's so many commercials. Like I can't stand commercials. One of my least favorite things, honestly. There's more commercials now than football on these primetime. It's brutal. But Thanksgiving's a little different because you get to enjoy, the commercials with the family. All right. I do think that I would go Gallup if you're going for ceiling. If you're going for the floor, though, in a PPR league, Mooney had 16 targets last week, which is insane. It was the most in the league. And it would be the most in the league in almost every single week. And I would start Patterson, though, if you think he's going to play. But without him playing, Jacob, I don't think you're crazy for just starting Mooney and Gallup. Dallas defense or Houston? Yeah, Houston against the Jets or Dallas against the Raiders. I think I would go Houston. I do. Miles Sanders or Gaskin? Yeah, I'd go Gaskin. Gaskin's seen guys a really, really high workload. We got Muth or Knox. Yeah, DFS lineup. Yeah, good question. Muth versus Knox, I think, is close to. I have Knox ranked a little bit ahead of Muth. Again, Josh Allen or Big Ben. I'm going Josh Allen there. So I'm going with Knox. I think Knox has a better chance at TD than Muth. All right, let me pull up my DraftKings lineup in the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio, by the way, the YouTube Live. We're live on YouTube and TikTok. It's just a little easier for me. I have a little bit more live stream capabilities on the YouTube Live. I've been petitioning, by the way, TikTok for, I don't know, a month now, maybe longer, to give us computer live stream access. A lot of people have it. We do not have it. If they let me go live on my computer on TikTok, then you guys would all be able to see what the YouTube Live sees do. But for now, you just got to come to the YouTube Live. You're like 3 presses of your finger away anyway, so come to the YouTube Live. Here's the DraftKings lineup I'm rocking with today. Actually, I think CeeDee Lamb's in here, so we got to take CeeDee Lamb out. So you have some room. You have some room in this DraftKings lineup to change things as you wish. And, if you're not as in on Deshaun Jackson as me, maybe that's what you end up changing. But here's the lineup. I'm going with Dak Prescott at QB. I think he's a pretty good value today at the quarterback position on DraftKings. I am going with Tony Jones at running back. Again, I don't think Tony Jones is a lock, but he's also almost bare minimum priced on a 3-game slate. And we just went through the Mark Ingram numbers. And assuming Mark Ingram's out, which it does look like Mark Ingram's going to be out, and we already know Alvin Kamara is out, Tony Jones is going to see at least 15 touches today. And so in DFS, Like that makes him too good of a value not to play. I'm also going with David Montgomery at the running back position for all those reasons we've already talked about. With the Bears, the most run-heavy team in the league, the Lions' defense has been the most run-heavy against defense in the league. So David Montgomery is like his ceiling and floor is just so high. He played 95% of the snaps with the Bears last week. I'm rocking with David Montgomery. I have CeeDee Lamb here because I made this before the CeeDee Lamb news. CeeDee Lamb's out though, so I think if I were to change one thing in this lineup, I'd probably definitely take CeeDee Lamb. I probably would either upgrade Tony Jones or I would upgrade Deshaun Jackson. So my receivers, I have Stephon Diggs in there. Stephon Diggs, highest upside wide receiver by a mile today with CeeDee Lamb out. Darnell Mooney, 16 targets last week. And then at tight end, I'm going with Darren Waller. Darren Waller is my number 1 overall tight end this week. And there's a lot of good tight ends on the slate. Like the DraftKings and FanDuel slates today, they're probably going to be determined by which tight end scores a touchdown. Because there's a lot of good tight ends. We got Darren Waller, we got Dalton Schultz, we have Dawson Knox, and we have TJ Hawkinson. And Hawkinson hasn't been great, but he could score a touchdown easily today. So all 4 of those guys I think are good options. But I'm paying up for Darren Waller because I think he's by far the highest ceiling of all of them. He's the number 1 target for the Raiders right now. And I put Deshaun Jackson in here. I'm definitely playing the Bills defense. I would definitely play the Bills defense. I don't think Matt Breida is the worst tournament play either. Because I do think there's a chance the Bills destroy the Saints. Judy or Gallup? Yeah, I think you go Gallup over Judy. Again, do you want Dak Prescott throwing to your receiver or do you want Teddy Bridgewater? It's got to be Dak, man. It's got to be Dak. Free move Knox seems like the most common question I'm seeing in the chat today. But I would go Knox over Muth, personally. 2-month sub here. Thank you so much for subscribing. Really appreciate it. Whether you're subscribing to the YouTube channel, which, takes you 2 seconds to do, or you're subscribing in the WalterPicks app, which is the number 1 way you could possibly support the brand. We got a 40% off sale right now. We have never offered this low of a price ever in the WalterPicks app. I mean, we have a team of 35 people working very hard to provide the best possible advice, all also powered by machine learning in the WalterPicks app. So you make the best fantasy football decisions, the best DraftKings and FanDuel decisions, the best player prop decisions. And right now you're getting that for less than $5 a month billed annually. And it's going to come with you'll get access all the way through next season too. All right, Tony Jones or Brandon Cooks if Ingram doesn't play. I would still go Brandon Cooks over Tony Jones. Bro, I need help. Thanksgiving question. Bro, I got you. Derek Carr or Tyrod Taylor? Yeah, it's Carr. I'd go Carr. I do. I'd like Tyrod Taylor as a pretty good streamer. I think you're looking at the right things. If you're thinking about Tyrod Taylor this week, you're looking at the right things. But I would still go with Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr does have a pretty good ceiling. Hey, Sam, love the app. Thanks, man. 2 questions. Who to start at flex this week? I can only choose one. Chubb, Diggs, Chase, or Godwin. Yikes, that's a lot of good players. I think I would go with Diggs. Over Chase. Oh, let me pull up the rankings here. Let me defer to the rankings. My wide receiver rankings, I have Stephon Diggs number 4 and Jamar Chase number 5. So it's definitely close. But yeah, I think I would go with Diggs. David Johnson or Tony Jones. Happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, Angelo. I would go with Tony Jones over David Johnson. Gallup or Gaskin in a half PPR league. Gallup or Waddle. Yeah, guys, Gallup is a good start. He had 10 targets last week, played over 90% of the snaps. You kind of have to start Gallup. Don't underestimate how good this Cowboys offense is. They looked really bad last week. But don't underestimate how good the offense is and how many points they can put up. And their offensive line's also as healthy as it's been this entire season. Guys, we are about 40 minutes from kickoff. We got to get these Thanksgiving questions in. We got 20 minutes left in the live. So much to be thankful for today. I'm thankful for all of you tuned in right now. And I love that. Thanksgiving is the best day of the year, man. It's the best day of the year. Should I trade T. Higgins and Miles Sanders for David Montgomery? Yes, you need to do this instantly, Juan. David Montgomery is going to win leagues. Again, it's the same story as last year. When David Montgomery's healthy, the Bears give him the ball a lot, and he does not come off the field. He played 95% of the snaps last week, man. There's not other running, there's such little running backs doing that. So few running backs. Renfrow or Gibson at flex. I think you go Gibson. James, just subscribe to the channel. Thanks, James. Yeah, guys, if you're watching live on YouTube, you got to hit the like button. You got to hit the subscribe button. It does help us out a ton. I do appreciate it, James. Should I start Renfrow or Kyle Pitts at flex? Full PPR. I'm starting Gronk at tight end. Yeah. James, I have a thing, man. I have a thing where I can't stomach starting 2 tight ends. Tight ends have such a low floor. And honestly, I disagree about starting Gronk over Pitts. But if you want to start Gronk, then yeah, just bench Pitts, play Renfrow. Just don't start 2 tight ends, man. Just don't do it. Sure, Gronk and Pitts, they actually might be projected for more points than Renfrow, but just if you have, don't put yourself through starting 2 tight ends. Just don't do it. Love the app. Should I do Zeke and Fant? Noah Fant. It's Fant, Sam. It's Fant. Zeke and Noah Fant for Mixon and Mark Andrews. I'm trying to build a team for the playoffs because I have a good record. Yeah, that's good. That's exactly what you need to do, Al. I would do this trade. I would definitely do this trade. Mixon is really comparable to Zeke. By the way, I've been meaning to make a video about this. It's on the back burner, but the video's coming. Whether it's in the next 2 days or 2 weeks, it's coming. The video on TikTok is coming. You guys will get a little sneak peek. But one of my general takes about fantasy before draft season every year is that one of the biggest edges you have when drafting in fantasy football is to basically completely ignore injuries. Don't pretend like you know who's going to get hurt. You don't know who's going to get hurt. Everyone was pretending like they knew Joe Mixon was going to get hurt. Joe Mixon, he always gets hurt. It's been 3 straight seasons. Joe Mixon lets us down. Guys, Joe Mixon has been one of the most consistent running backs in the NFL this season. This is exactly why we need to stop pretending like we know who's going to get hurt. He's had at least 10 carries in every single game this year. He had 30 carries last week. It's week 11. He hasn't missed a game. Not only has he not missed a game, he's had at least 10 carries in every game. He's had at least 10 points in every single game, except for week 2, where he had 8. He still had 20 carries in that game. We got to stop pretending like we know he's going to get hurt. We got to stop doing it. It's just too easy. Joe Mixon was going in the 3rd round of some drafts because of this. Because people just assume they knew he was getting, it just doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, injuries just happen, man. They just happen. There's tons of players this year got hurt, and it was impossible to predict. So I think it's an edge to just kind of stop pretending like we can predict it. I'm not saying that injuries don't matter, and I generally have a rule that I don't draft injured players that are already injured, but that's something different. Do you like Dak? Yeah, I do. I like Dak. Let me pull my QB rankings on the YouTube Live. There's a video coming about that, by the way. Hope maybe I can just snip that whole clip and post that as a video. I'm not sure. Let's actually write this down. What time are we at? 1:13. Maybe I'll just turn that into the video. Yeah, I do like Dak though. Yeah, I have Dak ranked as my number 4 quarterback this week. Saquon or Cordero? You guys, you got to start Saquon. You have to start Saquon Barkley. He's back. He's back. Why do you have Saquon Barkley in your team if you're not going to play? What have you been holding on to him for? If you're not going to play him when he's fully healthy, there just hasn't been that many games where he's fully healthy. You gotta be starting. He played 70% of the snaps last week in a really tough matchup. He had 6 targets and 6 catches too. You need to start Saquon. He's a top 10 running back this week, 100%. Josh Allen or Jalen Hurts, got to be Josh Allen. You got to start Josh Allen. Josh Allen's the number 2 overall quarterback for me this week. Gallup or Brandon Cooks? Yeah, I like Gallup more. Jameson, Elite, Crowder, or Jarvis Landry? It's got to be Crowder, man. It's got to be Crowder. Do I trade Brandon Cooks for Mike Williams? Yeah, I would do that one. Josh Allen or Herbert? Yeah, I like Josh Allen more than Herbert this week. Mike Evans or Metcalf? That one's close. Mike Evans is having another season to remember. He really is. He's been, over the last what is it, 6, 7 years? It's been a lot of years in a row for Mike Evans. And it looks like he's going to have another 1,000-yard season. That's kind of an arbitrary random number. He already has 10 touchdowns this year. He's gotten over 10 points in almost every game. I think you go with Evans. Would you rather have Eckler or Mixon on your team? Definitely Eckler. Eckler also has a really Eckler's a really good rest of season schedule. Is AJ Brown going to play this week? There's not 100%. This is not 100% yet, Miles, but I think yes. I think he will play. I would say my current thought is 75% chance that he plays. Thanksgiving question. With CeeDee Lamb out, I need to start two. Judy, Mooney, Higgins, Gallup, Pittman. Judy, Mooney, Higgins, Gallup, Pittman. Or Claypool. Yeah, I think for this one you go Gallup and Mooney. I think you go with the two guys today. Like they both are pretty good options, Ethan. Joe Schmo, Lamb is officially out, and I have Cedric Wilson. Am I starting him over Bryan Edwards? Yes. Yes, you got to start him over Bryan Edwards. And it pains me to say this, man. There was only one player I drafted on every team this year, and he's no longer on any of the teams anymore. Bryan Edwards. By the way, I do a lot of fantasy leagues. I'm in 6 different high-stakes fantasy leagues and a few more lower-stakes fantasy leagues. And I always try to get at least one player on all of them, but it's always like a late-round guy that I can just get in the last round because there's low risk. It's a low-risk, high-reward type of situation when you have as many teams as I have. And the only guy that I drafted in every team was Bryan Edwards. That didn't work out. It hasn't worked out. I'm still a fan of him, by the way. I do have him on a lot of best ball teams, too. But yeah, he played 85% of the snaps last week, 0 targets, 0 catches, 0 points. Just Cedric Wilson has a higher floor than that. He does. And I do think Deshaun Jackson is going to be more involved this week, too. So, yeah, I would start Cedric Wilson over Bryan Edwards. Thanksgiving question, Renfrow, AJ Brown, or Ayuk pick 2? Yeah, I think I would go with AJ Brown and Ayuk over Renfrow. Renfrow has a good floor. He's been over 45 yards in 80% of his games, but he doesn't have a single game over 80 yards. So the ceiling is not there for Renfrow. The floor is. His floor is close to 10 points, which is solid. But Ayuk and AJ Brown have ceilings over 20, Jonah. So that's why I'm also the type of person that likes to take risks. So that's why I would go with those two. Hey, Sam, is Corey Davis a drop? Yeah, I dropped him actually this morning. He is a drop. In most leagues. In most leagues, he's a drop. I forget who I dropped him for. It might have been Tony Jones. I think I dropped him for Tony Jones in one of my leagues. Mooney or Cole Beasley? I think I would go Cole Beasley in most weeks, but not this week. This week, I would go with Mooney. He had 16 targets last week. He had 60. I would be starting Mooney over Cole Beasley. Cole Beasley doesn't have the worst floor. He's back to full health. I think he's going to have a good week, but I like Mooney more. Gallup or Scary Terry? Yeah, I think you got to go Scary Terry with how he's been playing over Gallup. Should I do DJ Moore for Elijah Moore? No. Al, no. I like Elijah Moore. I do. I like Elijah Moore. And honestly, I bet Ryan would disagree with me on this. Our Jets.WalterPicks creator. I want to ask him this question. I'm going to Slack him right now and see what he says. But I personally would go DJ Moore. I'm Slacking him right now. I don't know if he'll respond on Thanksgiving. I am interested to see what he says for that one. But yeah, personally, I'm going DJ Moore over Elijah Moore still. Ingram or Miles Sanders at running back 2. Ingram's out today. Let's run through the injuries one more time. Mark Ingram, likely out today. That one has not been confirmed, but he's on the wrong side of questionable right now based on all the reports that have been out there. We have Andy Dalton starting. Justin Fields is out. We have CeeDee Lamb out. Amari Cooper out. Mark Ingram out. Alvin Kamara out. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of injuries to deal with today. I feel like I'm still missing one. But yeah, you gotta get Mark Ingram out of your lineups because he's probably out. Muth or Noah Fant. Yeah, it's got to be Muth. It's got to be Muth in that one. Noah Fant's really not been as good as we thought he was going to be this season. Thanksgiving question, defensive waiver pickup. Can't wait to watch my team's running backs. I have Zeke, Harris, and Montgomery. Love it. That's good. Do I play Zeke with his knee and start Dak, Stafford on bench? Yeah, you got to play Zeke with his knee, and you got to play Dak too. Happy Thanksgiving. Big question here. Ayuka the bazooka or Gallup if I need a W after a 5-game L streak? Yeah, Sam, you got to snap it. You got to stop the streak, man. You got to stop the skid. I would go Gallup over Ayuka the bazooka. I would go Gallup over Ayuka the bazooka this week. Lamar or Hurts? Yeah, don't bench Lamar. Don't bench Lamar. Eli, for sure. Thank you. I got you, man. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. The best day of the year. You got football. You got family. And wow, Ryan slacked me back instantly, by the way. On Thanksgiving, you'd love to see it. And this was his exact response to the DJ Moore, Elijah Moore question, which I think is a good question because Elijah Moore's been balling, man. Elijah Moore's been balling. And nobody is more in tune with the Jets that I know personally than Ryan Hammer, who is our Jets.WalterPicks creator. If you're not following him on TikTok, you got to follow him. He's been to every Jets home game over the last like many years. He has not missed a minute of Jets football in a long time. He's saying being impartial to, he would say DJ Moore over Elijah Moore. But Elijah Moore has proven with any level of QB the last few weeks, he's going to get his. And DJ has yet to prove that. He relies on offensive flow more than Elijah Moore. He also said he never really liked DJ all year and stayed away. But if someone offered him Elijah Moore plus something else, like a Elijah Mitchell or some random depth guy, he would take it in a heartbeat. So this is what Ryan's saying. Ryan's saying if you could trade away DJ Moore for Elijah Moore plus something else like small, he would do it. So it's really close. I think it is a really close one. And I actually agree with him, like based on just the last few weeks, he's right. Elijah Moore is less game flow dependent than DJ Moore. DJ Moore can be good game flowed out of a game, especially on a team like the Panthers right now. Like if the Panthers get a big early lead against the Dolphins, we might not see very much DJ Moore in that game. Mooney or Evans PPR? It's got to be Evans over Mooney. Happy Thanksgiving. If Ingram plays, him or Ayuk, Hointy Tonty, man, thanks for tuning back in. I don't think he's going to play. And if he does, I'd go Ayuk. I'm thankful for you, Sam. Wow, thanks, man. I'm thankful for you as well. A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith or Gallup full PPR? Yeah, Gallup versus A.J. Brown is a really tough one because we don't know for sure A.J. Brown's even going to play. He's playing against the Pats. Not a good matchup for him. So I don't think you're crazy for benching A.J. Brown in this specific situation. Thanksgiving question, Gallup, Renfro, or Bateman? Gallup, Renfro, or Bateman, Goddard, or Hawk, or Tony Jones, Ty Johnson, or Javonte? We got 3 questions here, Joey. I would go Gallup over Renfro and over Bateman. I would go Goddard, I think, over Hawk. Goddard's seen a huge target share since Zach Ertz left. And Tony Jones over the rest of those running backs. We got, Sam, your new nickname should be Quadzilla for running that 5K. Also, Prescott or Rodgers. I think I would go Prescott over Rodgers. Yeah, I did give away a free WalterPicks subscription on this YouTube Live. Someone guessed my exact 5K time. Actually, like pretty fast. Faster than I expected for someone to guess, not the 5K. It was, I think 24-16 or something. Happy Thanksgiving, Sam. I need your help. Miles Sanders or Josh Jacobs at running back 2. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. I think you go Josh Jacobs over Miles Sanders. I think this one's also really close. But to me, what tips the scales towards Josh Jacobs is the targets. Like he's getting more targets than Miles Sanders. You look at Miles Sanders, and he really he's been good. And Eagles fans know this too. Like Miles Sanders is good. He's been good since he entered the league. The volume has been really inconsistent though, and he's not involved in the passing game at all. He had 0 catches last week. Miles Sanders had 94 yards last week, but he still finished outside the top 24 running backs. He fumbled, but if he doesn't score a touchdown, Miles Sanders is going to score less than 10 points because he's just not involved in the passing game at all. He's a good receiver, but he's not involved in the passing game at all. So I think you go Josh Jacobs over Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders has gone over 11 points a single time this season. He's gone under 10 in 6 of his 8 games. The floor is low for Sanders because of the receiving. And then we also know Jalen Hurts can steal a lot of the touchdowns too. So yeah. Saquon or Brandon Cooks? Guys, you got to play Saquon. Sean, you got to play Saquon. You got to play Saquon this week. All right, let me run through these games again one more time. I got my picks against the spread on the YouTube Live. Link is in the TikTok bio, by the way. If you hadn't hit the subscribe button and you're tuned in for the first time on the YouTube Live, you got to hit the subscribe button. I'm live every Sunday morning, every single Thursday. We got lives every Monday now too. But you got to start Saquon Barkley. The games today. First game, Bears versus Lions. I'm taking the Bears at -3. I think there's a chance the Lions get their first win today. Thanksgiving, at home. The Bears playing Andy Dalton. Yeah, it could happen. But I don't think it's going to happen. That's not what I'm expecting. The Lions have a really, really untalented team. There's just not that much talent. They lost Khalil Mack. They have no Allen Robinson. The defense, really, the secondary hasn't been very good this season. So that's the Bears. The Lions just have such little talent. The Lions could win. I'm taking the Bears, though. The Bears, also, they've been one of the most run-heavy teams. The Lions' run defense is not good. I think David Montgomery is a big day. The Cowboys versus the Raiders. The Cowboys, no CeeDee Lamb, no Amari Cooper, but they are getting, I think it's Tyron Johnson back and the offensive line, which I think is going to be a big deal. I still think the offense for the Cowboys can cook today. So I'm taking the Cowboys at -7.5 versus the Raiders. And that one, I feel like is the one I'm least confident about because the Raiders have actually been pretty good this season. They've struggled recently, but they have been good, and their defense has been okay. But I still think the Cowboys offense can just outpower them. The last game, though, is the one I'm most confident in, and that's the Bills at -6 versus the Saints. I'm taking that as a lock this week. I've been 65% accurate on the lock picks this season. The Saints without Alvin Kamara, likely without Mark Ingram. Trevor Siemian starting at quarterback. No Adam Trautman. The defense has not been amazing. The offensive line is good, but yeah, the Bills' defense is going to bounce back in this game. The Bills aren't going to lose as bad as they did against the Colts last week, and then lose to such a team depleted of talent like the Saints. Thanksgiving question: what two to start out of D? There's a lot of D Johnsons. There's a lot: David Johnson, Deontay Johnson, Duke Johnson, Dearness Johnson. I think I'm still missing some. There's a lot of D Johnsons. Got to be just a tiny bit more specific. But I'm going to assume you mean Deontay Johnson for the sake of this question. I hope you mean Deontay Johnson. He's the best D Johnson, I think. Darnell Mooney, Elijah Moore, Tony Jones, or Mike Williams. Yeah, so I would go Deontay Johnson and probably Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney versus Mike Williams, I think, is super close too. Who did the Chargers get this week? The Chargers are up against, pulling this up now, the Broncos. Yeah, I think I'd go Mooney over Mike Williams. How are you feeling about Swift this week? I'm ranked as a top 10 running back. I don't know how you wouldn't have him ranked as a top 10 running back. He is number 2 in the league in targets per game. He's right there. He's right there with all the best receiving backs in the league in terms of receiving, and that's a big deal in PPR leagues. But he's also he's had over 100 yards back-to-back games. He's had 33 carries against the Steelers. His volume is exciting. You're my only hope. Mooney. Devontae Smith, Hunt, Ayuk at flex. Walter said Mooney. Yeah, I agree with Walter on this one. I would go with Mooney, but Devontae Smith is close. I don't know. I don't want to bench Devontae Smith either. They're playing the Giants this week, right? I think it's the Giants. No. Yeah, no, it is. It is. That's right. Yeah, Devontae Smith versus Mooney is really the question for me. I think I'd still probably go Mooney, but it is close. Tony Jones is available. Should I pick him up? Yeah, you should. You should pick him up, especially he's probably going to touch the ball at least 15 times. But it's not a good matchup. The Bills defense is really good. So there's a double-edged sword here with Tony Jones. I think you should pick him up. I don't think he should be available in any league. I don't think any running back that's destined for 15 touches should be available. And someone else in the chat saying, yes, that's my exact problem. Devontae Smith versus Darnell Mooney. Yeah, I think you're probably not alone here. Mooney is a good start. Obviously, Devontae Smith is not an easy guy to bench right now. Now, I understand that. He's had at least 10 points now in four of his last 5 games. He did okay against Lattimore last week. He's had at least 6 targets now in almost every game. But guys, Darnell Mooney's coming off a 16-target game, and in the Lions secondary is all undrafted rookies. Like, I think you go Darnell Mooney. I do. But I wouldn't knock you for starting Devontae Smith. Like, I don't think this one's a layup decision. And I would actually argue that Devontae Smith has a higher ceiling than Darnell Mooney. But Darnell Mooney has the safer floor. I think that I could talk myself into that analysis. I actually don't think we've seen the full ceiling for Devontae Smith yet this season either. That's the exciting part about Devontae Smith. He hasn't had a game yet with 25 or more fantasy points. He's going to have a game in the latter part of this season with 25-plus points. Devontae Smith's an absolute baller, man. Help. Choose 2. Bateman, Damian Harris, Tony Jones, or Freeman. Yeah, I like Tony Jones, I think, more than all of those guys. It's probably Tony Jones and Bateman for me. Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson. I understand the Russell Wilson concern, but I think I would probably start Russell Wilson. I think I'd probably start Russell Wilson. Newton or Russell Wilson, yeah, that one's much closer than Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson. It is. I think I'd probably go Russell Wilson over Newton too. Newton's safer than Russell Wilson, don't get me wrong, but Russ is against Washington this week. Newton has a good matchup against the Dolphins too. Like, it really is one of the perfect matchups for Cam Newton. But yeah, Max, you got to start Dak Prescott over Cam for sure. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanksgiving really is one of my favorite days of the year. I really hope you enjoy it. I hope you take some time to be thankful for everything you should be thankful for in your life. Time is the most valuable thing we have. You got to enjoy it on a day like this. Have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be back live, as always, Sunday morning. I'll have some videos, of course, coming out rest of week as well. Have a great rest of your day. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the family. And I'll be back soon. Thanks for tuning in.